I'd like to invite Right Honourable Justine, Secretary of State for Education, Minister for Women and Equality. Justine.
Thank you very much, and I really couldn't be more supportive of everything that you're trying to achieve with this amazing network that you're kicking off. I think the Women World Forum is a fantastic idea and initiative to now be really getting underway, and I really just wanted to give you my reflections about why I think it matters so much. Last week I had the chance to go back to a very special place for me, which was my old school, and to reopen it. It had just been rebuilt. I grew up in Rotherham in South Yorkshire, and I got to go back to this school and meet some of the teachers who worked so hard on my education. But really, it made me reflect, if you like, on the journey. And I was one of those people who went back to this school, and the current head teacher said, Justine is a role model for our children, and it made me realise I hadn't particularly intended to be a role model when I was at that school. It was great to meet a new generation of children who were studying. But I just really wanted to reflect a little bit on that journey, what was in it, but also what I think you can bring, actually, to help smooth the path for a new generation of diaspora women who are now making their way in our country, and why it's so important. So first of all, I mean, I would echo some of the points that have been made. It took a lot of dedication, and there were lots of distractions on that road, I think, in my case. But also, there was a huge amount of persistence and hard work. And when I look back on how I was able to steadily make my way in the world, like anyone who does, I had a huge amount of support. I had a lot of support from my family, which I think is really where anybody's support base starts from. But the reason I think this work is so powerful is that equally a lot of support came from outside of my family. And it was often from lots of people who didn't necessarily realise just how much that support would mean to me. And I think it's so important that that broader network that all of us have as we go through our lives, that is often the one that we draw on, especially as we get older, and perhaps we're less connected with our family day to day than when we were children. That network is hugely important. And I feel that if you want to change things, whatever that thing is, wherever you are, then it takes two things. It's about advocacy, making your point. It's about action, doing something about it. And I think your forum is really set up to try and achieve both of those things. I think you can be really proud as a diaspora of the work that you are doing around the world. I've had the privilege to meet Malala, and I think she's an amazing emblem for a country that has high hopes for its future. But equally, I think she helps all of us, frankly, lift our sights to what we can achieve. And I think for the Pakistan diaspora that is not in Pakistan but around the world in countries like our own, some of which I have the privilege to represent as a London MP, I think equally yours is a role that can really lift sights high for a new generation, especially a new generation of girls who are growing up in our country. And we need those girls to play their role. And I've always said that a country's biggest asset is its people. But half of those people are women. And no country will really reach its potential unless all of its people can reach theirs. And so the work that you've got underway now, which I think is brilliant, is to make sure that your girls play the role that they can in helping our country to be successful. And that means them steadily percolating through the whole of British society and British life, and really getting into all of those different areas where we want them to make a difference. And that includes my area of politics. I'm not someone who ever planned to become an MP. Nobody in my family had ever joined a political party, let alone got involved in politics. But I had people who encouraged me. And I think you are a group that can now encourage your children and help them realise that actually this is a country where they can really make something of themselves, and they should aim to. My last couple of points really are that I think sometimes when you look at changing things in the long term, it can sometimes feel like not a lot's moving, and you come into work the next week and it feels like it's a bit like it was the week before. But that's partly because I think if you're changing things in a country, it's a bit like watching hands on a clock. If you just sit there and watch them, it just looks like they're never moving. If you come back 10 minutes later, you can absolutely see what's moved on. And I think every one of those minutes really is a year if you're a country. And so whilst it may feel like sometimes things aren't changing and you're working really hard and you're doing all this stuff and does it really make a difference, the answer is actually yes, it is. But some of the seeds that you will plant with this work right now will only really grow up and be visible in, say, 10 or 15 or even 20 years' time. But somebody has to make a start planting them at some point. And that, to me, is the benefit of all of the work that you're doing. You are investing in those seeds of the future. You're planting them. And that's exactly what we need you to do. Yes, you will have support from the government. We are doing our bit. I think I've got the best job in government, because I get to help make our education system better for a brand new generation of children that are in them today. But fundamentally, I think what we all have as a common goal is finally making our country a place where there really is equality of opportunity for every single young person growing up in it, whatever their background, whatever their circumstances, wherever they are in our country. And I think my job is to work with you. You can inspire, hopefully, alongside some of the work that we do, inspire a generation, but I think my role is, as much as anything else, to empower and enable that generation to be the best it can be, and also to clear its way so that it's that bit easier to climb that ladder and that bit easier to do better. And I think it's incredibly exciting. So thank you for everything that you're going to be doing. I will watch with interest in your progress. I will support it very actively. And I wanted to pay tribute to the initiative and the efforts that have already gone in over the last 2 years in getting as far as you've done. It's hugely powerful, it's hugely appreciated. Thank you very much.